Let's go, move it!
Creek, one south of the creek!
It was definitely harder than the Marine Corps Crucible, basic.
We try to preserve it as much as we can.
What's your name?
My name is Timothy Dean Thornton.
My name is Jackson.
My name is Brian Wang.
Trent Denzer.
This is your first semester, right?
Yes, sir.
What do you do?
I work at an oil refinery.
I'm a firearms instructor.
I'm a graduate student and
Study.
Psychological science.
I work in the oil field.
So I get you. So you said you've been looking for something like this. Tell me what like this is it that you've been looking for?
So I guess the biggest thing is, hey, just trying to find something that gives particularly civilians, a better understanding of, military skills.
I'm like, man, it'd be really cool to be able to like go through the pitch black night with your face painted, punching through a tree line, doing ambushes, that kind of thing. So yeah, this is a safe, fun way to do it. Yeah.
Tell me a bit about timing. I mean, you were in Ukraine. How long? What? First off, how'd you go?
I live by a philosophy that we are here on this earth to serve others, and that's what gives us purpose. That's what gives me as a man purpose. So that struck me. I felt that very deeply right in the early days of the Ukraine invasion, Russians into Ukraine. So without knowing much about Ukraine, I actually made my decision to go and fight. And that was when the International Legion was forming, which was total chaos. It was a huge mess in the very beginning. So, one of my buddies who's a soldier in the US, he said, okay, let's just wait on this, just like take it easy, study the problem before you go charging in if you don't know how to solve it, right? So I did. I took that advice. I studied the problem a little bit more, connected with some folks over social media, and then found that rather than necessarily going straight into fight, there would be more value if I would come in as I am, which is a weapons instructor. So that's when I made a trip to Ukraine, and I went there April of 2022.
What was a funny experience that you weren't expecting?
We were setting security for last night's mission. Finally, we got to point silver, and I had to rip ass. But we're on patrol, so I was saving it until we got to our rendezvous point.
You're the chemical warfare guy, the biological. I heard about that, Sting.
So I had to let it rip. But it was in celebration, okay? For us meeting the rendezvous point properly.
Any advice you guys have for guys like on the fence about coming here?
Do it.
Just do it?
Yeah. Do it. Don't overthink.
Bring a buddy.
Yeah. Bring a buddy. Oh, that's a good one. Yeah.
I think I have a different perspective because I'm not American. I'm coming from abroad. So I definitely advise people that because we are not familiar with guns and this kind of training, so I definitely will tell them to come. Don't think twice, it's worth it. Everything you do to come here, it's not easy, but anything you do to come here will be worth it.
Marking, just like quickly, and then, but I need to mark that time. Oh, this part. Okay. I got it right
Next one's
EFTX.
Yeah.
3 days. You're out in the woods 24/7 on
Yep.
a mission. Things can go good. Things can go sour from 1 hour to the next. What was that like?
Let's go, move it!
I am still very, very tired.
Yeah.
But honestly, it did not feel like 3 days. It's just a blur because you're on your feet pretty much the whole time. The first day we got rained on almost non-stop. We were doing movement to contact that day, and we just kept on the attack over and over and over again. So it was like as soon as one engagement was finished, we were on to the next. And of course, I think for people that haven't ever even been camping, much less like just sleeping outside with the stars above you with an isomat, we had to do that, and that was fun, except you got about 1 hour of sleep because we kept having to change for security over and over again.
The FTX was intense, and it pushed me to limits that I didn't really know I had, but I'm really glad because that actually was one of the reasons why I came here, was to try to kind of find what those limits were. And I was able to push past them, maintain my composure, which seemed kind of difficult for everybody else.
It was awesome. We were definitely on the struggle bus on that, especially with the rain and the cold temperatures at night. It was definitely harder than the Marine Corps Crucible basic.
You think so?
Absolutely, yes.
Wow.
We got very little sleep and a lot of movement. Moving around and reacting to contact and pushing out patrols.
Okay, we're in it for real now. We're not just going out in a practice session that's gonna last a couple hours. I mean, we're gonna head out there. We might be just holding a position for a couple hours. And then we're gonna do a different mission. We're gonna go on a different patrol. We're gonna do a different firefight. And you just see everything that you learn just roll together, and eventually it starts to mesh. Especially with you're out there with these guys, you're with your fire team, you get used to the hand signals, you get used to the body cadence, you get used to how you guys get up and move, and you gotta be here to experience it. It's hard to explain, but especially when you get in those firefights, when you're going on little sleep, you're exhausted from dragging the entire time, and they're like, Trent, you need a nap. Like, no, I need a firefight, because that gets the adrenaline going.
What do you think about the camaraderie and the friendships that you built here?
Fantastic. I've said this a couple times here. I really don't think there's anywhere else where you could just get a bunch of random dudes and cram them together, and at the end they're all pretty much going to be friends. And I mean the whole thing, I think, really fosters that spirit of solidarity and camaraderie. But definitely the FTX, because with your whole team, you're around them constantly, and you're having to trust each other, like, for everything, for waking up, for security, for making sure that you're good, and then when you're maneuvering, making sure you don't get, notionally killed in every engagement.
The camaraderie you build with the other students here is unlike anything else I experienced in the military. Yes, I still keep in reach with my brothers that I serve with, but these guys back here, I'm always going to be in contact with them, because it's not like anything else I've ever experienced.
What was intimidating about this environment as you probably were thinking of coming?
Honestly, I was a little bit worried about my own lack of prior experience coming in. I was worried I was going to slow people down, or people would get pissed off or something. But no, it didn't happen at all. Everybody was incredibly patient, and everybody was really willing to teach and to share their knowledge, which I thought was very, very good and important.
I won't lie, I was intimidated by this whole thing. I thought it was more militant, but it's not. It's like laid back. It's like a brotherhood. Like, camaraderie here is a big thing. And I would say to people that are intimidated by it, like, you'll find out real quick that it's not what you think it is. And it's an experience that you're probably not gonna find anywhere else.
What would you tell other guys that are maybe thinking about humming and hawing, maybe got some reservations, or feel like, this is maybe too much for me?
Just give it a shot. Put it on the calendar, kind of just like, hey, I don't really know if I want to ride a motorcycle, which I do. My recommendation is, hey, if you're interested but you're not 100% sold, take the MSF course. You got to buy a helmet, but you're going to learn whether you want to ride or not. And you don't got to buy a bike. Same thing with like jumping out of airplane, which I've also done. If you're like, I don't know about solo skydiving, well, go tandem once and see what you think. Like, you can dip your toes in. You don't have to buy all the gear. You don't kind of spend thousands off the chute. Uniforms a couple hundred. But there's that opportunity there. Just get it scheduled. Don't think about it. Dedicate some time, and I guarantee it's worth it. I guarantee it's worth it.